Hi, and welcome to DrupalBrief. This is an AI-generated summary of another video, podcast, or blog post. If you want to learn more about what's being discussed here, then please go check out the source. This podcast is produced by the team at Drupal Forge. Drupal Forge is the new #1 open-source development and hosting platform. It has all the functionality of the expensive platforms, but at very affordable prices. If you're looking for a new hosting provider, contact us for a demo before you get locked in. Okay, that's it. Make sure to click subscribe, and here we go.
Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're digging into something that feels really timely for the Drupal community. It's about our events, Drupal events, and maybe needing to, well, get back to basics a little.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. We're looking at a Talkin' Drupal episode, number 496.
Right, getting back to Drupal basics. They had Mike Anello on.
Great guest. Loads of experience.
Absolutely. And our goal here is to kind of pull out the key insights. Why does this matter? And, what can we actually do?
And Mike Anello, he's the guest we're focusing on from that episode. He's been in the Drupal world for, over 15 years?
Yeah, consulting, training with Drupal Easy. He really knows his stuff.
He does. And he's also technically a co-maintainer for the Entity Reference Override module.
Although he did joke on the show he's mostly inactive on that front these days.
Right. But it shows his depth.
So this whole conversation apparently kicked off from something kind of surprising, didn't it?
Yeah, it was an anecdote from Mike. He was doing office hours, for his beginner students. Yep. And someone just asked, where are the sessions on views at Drupal events?
Wow, views. I mean, that's pretty fundamental. For anyone maybe newer listening, views is like the way you build lists and displays of content without code in Drupal.
Exactly. It's core. And this student asking made Mike stop and think.
And realize what?
Well, that he hadn't really seen basic sessions like on views, on event schedules for years. Not just beginner, maybe not even intermediate sometimes.
That's actually pretty shocking when you think about it.
It really is. And Mike pointed out this kind of disconnect.
How so?
Well, the community put so much effort technically into making Drupal easier to use, right? Making the CMS welcoming.
Yeah, the admin, UI improvements, project browser, all that.
Exactly. But then people try to engage with the community at events.
Which is where you really get involved, right?
Meet people, learn.
And they find not much for them if they're starting out. It's like building a really nice welcome mat, but then everyone inside is speaking a different language.
Yeah.
That's a perfect analogy. And Mike mentioned this specifically came up at Drupal Camp, New Jersey, talking with one of the Talking Drupal hosts.
Yeah, that realization hit him there. Years without seeing sessions on something like views.
Think about being a new person walking into that. You're excited, maybe a bit nervous.
And you look at the schedule, and it's all like headless architectures, advanced migrations, niche stuff.
You'd feel completely lost, overwhelmed.
Right. Maybe even discouraged. Like, is this community really for me? Instead of feeling energized, you might just feel, out of your depth.
So why? Why did things shift this way? Did Mike have thoughts on that?
He did. He mentioned a pretty human tendency. We like new things, shiny things.
Presenters and attendees both.
Yeah. Presenting on the latest, greatest tech can feel good. He called it a bit of a flex, showing off the cutting edge.
I can see that. And I suppose as Drupal itself got more complex.
Exactly. The focus naturally shifted to cover all that new complexity. If it makes sense. But, as Mike put it, maybe we need a perspective check. We sort of forgot about the crucial part. Bringing new people in.
Yeah.
Giving them that foundation.
And that onboarding piece is just critical, especially now.
Why, especially now?
Well, Mike brought up the demographics. The Drupal community, let's be honest, isn't getting any younger overall.
That's a fair point.
We desperately need to attract new talent, younger developers, fresh perspectives, if we want Drupal to keep growing and innovating.
Absolutely. And that on-ramp, as he called it, isn't just about the software or the docs. Events are key.
Where the community happens, really. Connections, learning together.
Right. And if the events don't have that basic content, it's like an unintentional barrier, a members-only sign for people just starting out.
Nick Laughlin on the Talking Drupal show called it a chicken and egg problem, right?
Yeah, that classic dilemma. Do we not have basic sessions because there aren't enough new people?
Or do we not have enough new people because we don't offer the basic sessions they need?
It's a cycle, and we need to break it.
Did Mike offer a way out of that loop?
He did. He pushed back on that idea, actually. He talked about events like Design for Drupal years ago.
Okay.
And how impactful those basic foundational learning moments were for people. That's the stuff that sticks, that lets you understand the harder stuff later.
Like learning scales before playing a concerto.
Exactly that. You need the building blocks.
Okay, so it's important. How do we do it? How do we get more basic talks happening?
Well, framing is key. Mike stressed that. It's not about dumbing down. It's about presenting fundamentals clearly, accessibly.
And maybe not worrying if the room isn't packed initially?
Right, because recordings exist. They can reach way more people over time. So the value isn't just in that one room on that one day.
And there's a marketing angle too, isn't there? Kathy Beck mentioned this.
Yeah, a big one. Having a dedicated beginner track can actually attract people. Think local universities, coding clubs, PHP groups.
People who are maybe Drupal curious but need that clear entry point.
Exactly. It's like saying, hey, new folks, we have something specifically for you.
So provide the chicken the basic content to attract the eggs, the newcomers.
You got it? And they brainstormed some really practical ways to make that happen.
Like what?
The big idea was collaboration. Getting trainers, experienced speakers to create an open source basic session decks.
Oh, interesting. So like a shared library.
Yeah. On core topics.
Yeah.
User roles, field API, how Drupal handles data types, views, basics, maybe relationships in views.
Stuff everyone needs to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of every presenter reinventing the wheel for an intro talk.
There's a high quality, maybe even community vetted deck ready to go.
Exactly. And Mike said Drupal Easy would be willing to help kickstart that.
Yeah.
Share some of their materials.
That's fantastic because then it's much easier for an experienced person to pick up that deck and deliver a solid basic talk, right?
Much easier. Less prep time. It lowers the barrier for contributing in that specific way.
And could there be incentives, like contribution credits or something?
That came up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe contribution credits on Drupal.org for authors, maybe some branding. Make it worthwhile.
And helping organizers promote these tracks.
Crucial. Maybe a resource page on DO with tips, how to reach out to local colleges, how to talk to coding boot camps.
Okay, that sounds really practical. But what about potential roadblocks, like getting experienced speakers on board?
Yeah, the concern that maybe seasoned speakers want to do the advanced talks.
Right. Their passion might be there.
True. But having ready-made decks makes it easier to give a basic talk. It's less work. Plus, it's a chance to mentor, to give back directly.
Organizers would need to be careful too, right? Not force someone only to do basic if they have an advanced topic they're burning to share.
Definitely a balancing act. Maybe allow speakers to do both if the schedule permits. Or, as Mike suggested,
What was that?
target newer community members to give these talks. First-time speakers, maybe? Give them the deck. Support them.
Oh, I like that. Empowering new voices using prepared materials. That's smart.
It could be a great pathway into presenting.
What about the flip side? Could having a beginner track, I don't know, put off some of the hardcore advanced attendees?
That concern was raised, like, oh, is this event becoming too basic for me?
Yeah.
But the counterargument was pretty strong. Do we really want to build events only for people who are resistant to newcomers?
Good point. A healthy community needs that mix, needs that growth.
Absolutely. So the challenge is integration. How do you fit it in?
Maybe trim some less popular advanced talks? Or add a dedicated track if possible.
Yeah, it depends on the event, the venue, the resources. Florida Drupal Camp is already doing it, apparently. Planning a beginner track.
Oh, excellent. So it's starting to happen.
Seems like it. And the consensus leaned towards a structured track being better for newcomers than just sprinkling basic talks randomly. Gives them a clear path.
Makes sense. Did virtual events come up at all?
Briefly. The idea that maybe they attract younger folks naturally. But the focus really stayed on in-person events needing this content too.
Because that's where the deep community connection often happens.
Right, that shared experience.
So it all wrapped up with a call to action, essentially.
Yeah, Mike basically said, I'm here to help. If people want to run with this idea of creating basic content, developing these decks, he's willing to support them.
Starting small.
Yeah, start with an MVP, a minimum viable product. Get something out there, build momentum.
Okay, so let's boil this down for everyone listening. Key takeaways. First, this isn't just a nice idea. Addressing the lack of beginner content is pretty vital for Drupal's future growth.
Yeah, it's about sustainability and bringing new energy in, making Drupal accessible.
Second, this collaborative idea, creating and sharing open source basic session decks, seems like a really practical, powerful way forward.
Takes the burden off individuals, ensures quality, helps everyone.
Third, event organizers have a huge role here, prioritizing this, promoting it, making space for it.
They're gatekeepers in a way, but they can also be enablers of this change.
And finally, even for the Drupal veterans listening, There's value in revisiting the basics sometimes, and definitely value in supporting the newcomer.
You're all beginners once, right?
Yeah.
Helping the next person up is how communities thrive.
So here's something maybe to cue on after this. Think back. When you were first learning Drupal, what kind of event session would have been gold for you?
What would have made things click faster? Or made you feel more welcome?
Yeah. And then think, how can you help create that experience for someone else now? Whether you're a dev, PM, designer, organizer, what's your part?
It's a good question to ask ourselves. If you want to hear the original chat, check out Talking Drupal 496 link will be in the notes.
And if you're fired up to help create these basic materials, reach out to Mike Anello. His Drupal.org username is Ultimic, ULTIMIC. We'll link that too.
Remember, it's a community thing. Every little bit helps build that better on-ramp.
Okay, we're done. To close off this podcast, I just wanted to remind you that this brief was a fully AI-generated summary, and we take no credit for the original content. If you want to learn more, then check out the source. This podcast is produced by the team at Drupal Forge. Drupal Forge is the new #1 open-source development and hosting platform. It has all the functionality of the expensive platforms, but at very affordable prices. If you're looking for a new hosting provider, contact us for a demo before you get locked in. And if you like this podcast, hit subscribe, post a link on social media, and recommend it to 2 friends. That's it. See you next time. Bye for now.